They even go a step further and propose how to retrofit the 1970s Kijkdorp into something more, well, beautiful.
Yeah, I was gonna say because that I'm sorry, Belgium, but that is ugly. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're going to be checking out a video that was requested to me in the comment section on my last cycling reaction compilation video that I did. It was just all my cycling videos. But anyways, Janine Evan Duerwer 7939. Sorry for butchering your name. As the saying goes, a Belgian is born with a brick in his stomach. As you can see in this video, everyone wants to build in their own unique style. For example, we love building or renovating our own homes, which is why you can find the most diverse and unique architectural styles in Belgium. In this video, you can see the complete development of a neighborhood. After all, we are the land known of surrealism. The video is this one right here called "They Built a New Town in Belgium," and it's stunning. So, links down below for that. Thanks for the suggestion. Thanks for watching it with me. We're going to check it out together, guys. Do me a favor and hit like and subscribe. Helps the channel out way more than you know. And I also appreciate it. And it's free. That's always good. Free stuff is amazing.
Barely anyone knows about it, but they built a beautiful new town in Belgium and it stunned everyone. Using local Flemish architecture and a traditional urban plan, they did what many think is impossible today. They created a thriving community that isn't boring and soulless, but one that is beautiful and that actually fits the place where it was built. But how? In this video, you'll learn how a small team of visionary planners and architects created a worthy and beautiful extension to a once beautiful beach town on the Belgian coast. We'll see its beautiful architecture, its successful urban design, and we'll meet the architect who was closely involved in the project from start to finish. Not only that, we'll also dive into the 5 secrets behind the success of this place. So let's get started.
Let's get started. Beautiful, livable, and enduring, it says.
I'm in the beautiful city of Bruges, Belgium. And although it's a stunning city, I haven't come here to just drink leffe beer and eat fries and waffles.
Is that where leffe is from? I always pronounce it wrong. I was saying leffe. Yeah, so I can get that at my local place. The only thing I can get now though is the blonde version. They did have the brown or brune, as it says on the front. It's pretty good. I like the brown version better though. I think that's probably the blonde, what he's drinking there. But I mean, they probably have more than just those 2 options anyways.
Instead, I've come here because it's nearby a very special new development that's just a 20-minute drive from here. And that new town is called Heulebrug.
Heulebrug.
When you arrive by car, you see a village in the distance. But what you see isn't one of Belgium's medieval towns that have been here for 1,000 years. No, this one is brand new. When you come closer, you see its majestic tower rise over the brick gables and quaint facades. Everything here was built recently and has been the work of a number of visionary architects, the vision of one mayor, and the outcome of a short but intense design process, a so-called charrette, plus a number of design guidelines and a lot of effort to keep.
Okay, I was gonna say, because they gotta have some sort of guidelines because it doesn't look modern, right? Let me go back. Let's look at these design standards. Okay, yeah, so that's just the layouts of, I guess, what's acceptable. But it makes sense because they all match, they all look traditional. This is like your classic, what I would think of. I don't know if you can see that on, yeah, there you go. Very cool.
Of design guidelines and a lot of effort to keep this vision intact. It sounds impossible, and yet Heulebrug is indeed very real. But how were they able to achieve this? Meet Matthias Delru, an engineer and architect who has been involved from the very beginning.
I'm Matthias Delru. I'm a civil engineer in architecture and urbanist, and I've been working on this project, Heulebrug, for more than 25 years now.
To understand why they built Heulebrug, we have to look at the town it belongs to. Knokke-Heist started out as a humble fishing village. However, in the 19th century, the town became a fancy seaside resort town. Beautiful hotels arose as it became.
That one looked cool. Hold on.
19th century, the town became a.
Look at that thing. Look at those weird, like that tower looking thing on the corner. That's crazy looking. The way it overlooks, like here's the balconies and everything, or not balconies, I guess are they balconies? I can't tell. They're not really full balconies, but it's like a walking area. It looks like you can open the whole window and stand out there and overlook stuff. But it's weird because it's on a 45-degree angle, but the tower itself isn't, so that overhangs it. I've never seen something like that.
Fancy seaside resort town, beautiful hotels arose as it became the place to be for European royalty who wanted to stay on the beautiful Belgian coast. The town saw some of the earliest true urban plans of Belgium, which is quite unique in the country. See, Belgium has a bit of a history of laissez-faire planning. Many villages and towns in Belgium are what we call lintbebouwing. Homes were built directly adjacent to existing roads, growing long ribbon-like towns. But not so in Knokke-Heist,
Okay.
because here the great German planner Joseph
That's how you would have it like in the south, like when you got the mountains and stuff. So like because it would all be mountains, right? So then you would just have the main roads, which would just kind of like be the valley in between all the mountains. So then like West Virginia and stuff like that, you would get like this long stretch of the village or city or whatever.
ribbon-like towns. But not so in Knokke-Heist, because here the great German planner Joseph Steuben is brought in to design a plan for a new area called Duinbergen. However, as the town keeps growing, new extensions are needed. In the 1970s, a development called Kijkdorp is realized, south of the railway. It uses the rat burn principle. And the homes are built using industrial prefabrication. But this extension isn't enough. South of Kijkdorp lies another plot destined for growth. Various plans are proposed, from a simple design by public company WVI to a new villa park. But nothing happens, as the Lord Mayor, Leopold Lippens, isn't happy with the plans. It is he who decides that he wants to do things very different indeed.
The Lord Mayor, Leopold Lippens, who sadly passed away 4 years ago, he indicated to my former director and my former colleagues that they had to employ the founding fathers of new urbanism, the company DPZ, Duane Plater Zyperk and Company from Florida, USA, to help realize a master plan according to their new urbanism principles.
They visit Seaside with a team in 1998 and pay another visit to Dorset in the UK to visit Poundbury. The master plan by Leon Greer that was commissioned by the Prince of Wales, now King Charles. It's around that time that a team of these architects, including Leon Greer, Andres Douani and Jeff Speck, come over. They do site visits, they interview the locals and even give lectures about new urbanism. And then they start what is called a design charrette, an intensive collaborative workshop where planners, architects and stakeholders rapidly develop and refine a design project. The Lord Mayor is very clear from the start. He wants beautiful architecture that belongs to the local identity of Flanders.
Right.
But what they get from local architects and developers isn't cooperation, it's
Yeah, and that's the thing, like Rotterdam, for instance. I know Netherlands isn't Belgium, different country. But you know, Rotterdam doesn't look like it belongs to that country, right? The styles, the design elements, all that sort of stuff. So it is kind of cool that he's like, okay, well, this is like a predetermined, like an approved template, right? This is what sort of stuff you can do, this and that. So like they're designing it to make it just look like it fits, which is great. But it's new, which is crazy because like you don't get a lot of new cities in Europe like that, right? Like they usually just grow organically over time and they're usually all like super old.
resistance. In the US, many developers already know that modernist housing doesn't do well. But here in Belgium, they find an ideological commitment to modernism at any cost. However, at the design charrette, the Lord Mayor gets what he wants: beautiful traditional architecture. On another note, it's not always possible to get what you want, like in the EU Parliament, where Ursula von der Leyen survived 2 motions of censure. The news stories around these confidence challenges vary wildly, and in
Ground
general,
news.
it's not always easy to get a clear view of what's happening without bias. For this reason, I like to get my news from the Ground News app and website. They gather news from over 50,000 sources from the Vantage Plan,
Ground news, guys. You've seen the ads. We don't need to see this one. Ground News, 40% off. There you go. Get your QR code for your deal. Links, for, for the original videos down below anyway. So onward.
The charrette produces the design for the urban plan, artist impressions, but more importantly, also a system of regulations, typical elevations and a platting system, laying out various options of row houses, duplexes and houses with varying lot widths.
Okay, so this is the row houses can be 6 meters wide or 7.5. Okay, so this is the biggest. Okay, so row houses, rear access garage. Okay, so if your lot is 6 meters wide, that's how big your row house could be, right? 7.5 meter wide up to 10.5 meter wide. Okay, so you got duplex, two different kinds: rear access garage, rear or front access garage, and you got house, right, with the rear access garage, or a house with the rear or front access garage. Oh, interesting.
Out various options of row houses, duplexes and houses with varying lot widths. They even go a step further and propose how to retrofit the 1970s kijkdorp into something more, well, beautiful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because that, I'm sorry, Belgium, but that is ugly. That's terrible. What were you thinking? And is that fish scales on the side? I mean, I know it's not fish scales, but whatever that is, that looks like you were trying to go for a fish scale look. That is terrible. It's like a military complex or something. I don't know.
Propose how to retrofit the 1970s kijkdorp into something more, well, beautiful. But one thing is missing: the aesthetic guidance for the architects. Because only a plan isn't enough to achieve this result. They need designs. They attract an international team of architects who send in designs for houses. Some of them miss the mark, but most of the architects are approved. It also leads to several house designs tied to specific plots, which buyers of those lots need to use. This is done to infuse the plan with those characteristic and exemplary designs. The next step is to get it all built, and for that they use another interesting system. One that is uniquely fitting for Belgium. You see, many Belgians don't want to buy a turnkey house. They want to build their own house. So in Heulebrug they can buy a lot and attract an architect. But what makes this...
Why though? Is it just, I mean, if you have the money, yeah. I mean, I guess there's a lot of people here like that too, that, if they have, if you have the money, you know, then they like to go and sit down and design it and stuff like that. I used to do drywall and stuff. And so I was around like a lot of different houses and people that were building houses, like contractors and stuff like that. And there's a fair bit of that here, but I feel like a lot of people are just, going and buying pre-built houses most of the time.
project unique is that there is a quality assurance system in place that makes sure that the designs of the architects are vetted to the guiding principles that were set up, and only then are given approval. This means that people could find their own local architect and work with them, but they did have to conform their designs to the guidelines. Happily, they did get help if it was needed. Some architects weren't acting in good faith, however. Many tried to sneak in modernist designs by applying with a traditional design, which was approved, but then quietly changing their plans to a modernist one. Happily, this was always discovered and corrected, because they would still need...
How are they? So, like, trying to do the old bait and switch, I guess. And I got a cat behind my computer monitor here. I got to get, hold on. Lucy, come here. Get down. Get the window behind my monitor.
to a modernist one. Happily, they did get help if it was needed. Some architects weren't acting in good faith, however. Many tried to sneak in modernist designs by applying with a traditional design, which was approved, but then quietly changing their plans to a modernist one. Happily, this was always discovered and corrected, because they would still need final approval.
How would you not notice it? Like, to be like, wait a minute, that house don't look right. or duplex or whatever, you know. Like why is it angled like that?
By the way, if you like this content so far, you'll love our newsletter, the City Builders Blueprint. If you join, you get our free 10x city guide and much more. Slowly but surely, the town started to arise from the Flemish polder landscape. Today, the result is stunning.
Hold on, the Flemish polder landscape. This is on a polder? Okay, did I miss did they mention that? Interesting. I wasn't even thinking about polders in Belgium because there's like, you know, obviously there's polders in the Netherlands, but yeah, Belgium, duh, that's part of the lowlands too. Part of it at least, right? Hmm. I might have to check that out, guys. Polders in Belgium. You got any videos? Let me know down below.
Beautiful brick facades line intimate streets. The tall tower intuitively shows where the center is located, and the canal pulls both greenery and water straight into the plan, right to the center. The facades are diverse and fit the local vernacular of Flanders, inspired by the architecture that can be found in nearby Bruges. The local inhabitants have formed a community, and not only has it become a popular place to live, but more importantly, it has shown to be very friendly to children. Another interesting aspect is how the garages offer extra space that could potentially be used as an accessory dwelling unit. So far, they can't be used like this, as they would probably be let out to tourists, as it is so close to the beach. But with the current housing crisis, it is being discussed again. So what were the urban design principles of Heulebrug? There are several key ones. The town uses a system of building blocks with clear delineation of public and private space. The street system is organic, with slight curves and turns. The plan doesn't turn its back on the surrounding countryside, but opens up to it, and has only frontal facades facing the view of the surrounding polders. It is designed as a mixed-use development. The aim
the surrounding polders, plural. Makes it sound like there's multiple polders in this area. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find a video on that soon.
It's facing the view of the surrounding polders. It is designed as a mixed-use development. The aim was to have shops in the neighborhood. However, only a pharmacy has made it. This is actually a quite common challenge in new towns like this. The architect.
Yeah, because if it's grown organically, there was a need, right? So a lot of businesses, you know, if you're making a town from nothing, it's harder to get those same businesses, you know, because that's something that's grown organically over time. You know, somebody sees a need, they fill that need with a bakery or with a diner, whatever, right? So when it's building a city, you're kind of forcing it, you're just making it happen, right? So you'd almost have to just kind of just wait a little bit, I think, right? People in the neighborhood start seeing, okay, we need this, we need that, right? And then eventually it'll just start to organically pop up. Or at least that's my prediction. I don't know.
Architecture reflects the local Flemish vernacular and uses classical principles like vertical window openings, traditional materials and pitched roofs.
Looks
One
cool.
often overlooked feature is the backs of the houses. In Heulebrug, there is a system of back alleys where people can park their cars and bikes. This place has an even more important function, however. In daily life, it's a place where people meet and where children can play, as it is closed off from regular traffic and it is too narrow for cars to speed. So, what 5 expert lessons can we learn from Heulebrug? First of all, a good plan doesn't take long to be made, but guarding it takes decades. The charrette only took about a week, but it has required constant vigilance of WVI to maintain the vision. Second, put cars at the back. If underground parking is unfeasible, back of block alleys can absorb garages and storage, so France stays safe.
Underground parking's interesting because I've been in Cincinnati and they have underground garages under their houses. So like there's less parking on the tiny little streets like right there next to the downtown because it literally like you just drive down and then you just park your car under the house. It's really crazy.
Civil and free of cars and clutter. Number 3, review plans intelligently. Don't just enforce a dogmatic scheme of aesthetics, but have your reviewers of plans explain why certain elements matter. Because many design elements often have more important functions than just an aesthetic one. Number 4 is guard the landscape for everyone. Make sure you don't sell the qualities of the landscape as a luxury to single lot owners, but make sure that the entire community benefits. It will raise the value of the entire neighborhood, not just the plots that would benefit. And finally, number 5, have a spine. You often need one promoter of the plan who has enough political power and the spine to defend it. Otherwise, it might be compromised before the first brick is placed. You need a firm no sometimes. So, is Heulebrug completely perfect? Well, of course not. It doesn't have all the shops and liveliness of a bigger town. But to be fair, it's too small to support that anyway. And with people owning cars and bikes, it's only logical that they do their shopping nearby. The closest supermarket is a 15-minute walk anyway. What about the aesthetics? Well, many...
Like I said, it'll grow organically though, for sure. And with the aesthetics, I think the aesthetics are nice. It looks, I mean, I'm not a Belgium expert, obviously. I'm just a dumb American. But to me, to my eyes, I mean, if somebody said, hey, these buildings are all 400 years old, I'd probably be like, oh, okay, that's cool. How'd they keep them looking so nice? Good maintenance. I wouldn't be like thinking, oh, no, they just built these within the last, I don't know what, the last 50 years sometime or whatever. Yeah. And back where they were talking about the top, where's it at? Well, it showed the roof ledge. Some of it has function. It's not just, like right here with the little rain, it's like, yeah, it's not just about the way it looks. It's like there's reasons people's done this kind of thing in the past, right? So when you see all these buildings, all this kind of stuff built a certain kind of way, well, there's reasons they did that, right? And right there, to help keep parts of it dry, which makes it last longer, less erosion from acid rain, stuff like that. I don't know if they knew about acid rain back then, but still.
If the roads have a bit too much asphalt, and some of the architecture could be a bit bland. But to be fair, at least it's harmonious. And if you know anything about Belgium and its ugly Belgian houses, a visually harmonious neighborhood is quite unique here. And it's far better than a nearby 70s district. Concluding, Heulebrug shows us how we could embrace a radically different way of designing successfully. One that embraces the unique architectural language of a region, that uses timeless and proven principles of urban design, and one that makes sure that everybody can enjoy the beauty of the surrounding landscape. Most importantly, it shows that places with a pleasant ambience, places you remember, can be designed and made. Many people believe it's simply not possible. And yet, here in Belgium, they managed to do this. It can be done, but you need a great plan, designed by fantastic planners, and those who guard it. And that's why I believe that we need an army of great designers, politicians, developers, and citizens who can create and defend these places. We need those with the knowledge, the systems, the language and courage to take on the status quo. Or we simply won't make these nice places anymore. I'm doing whatever I can with our new email list to share everything I've learned over the years.
I like how they kept it old. Like it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb like when they rebuilt Rotterdam, which, yeah, sure, the cube houses look really super cool, and there's like some really, really nice looking buildings and stuff over there, but like it doesn't look traditional Dutch. You know what I'm saying? Whereas this here, to me, my untrained American eye, that looks traditional Belgian, right? Or Belgium, however you would say that, right? But anyways, do me a favor, guys. Hit like, hit subscribe on this video. Helps the channel more than you know. We're trying to get to that 100,000 subscriber goal. I wasn't trying to rhyme, but it happened. But anyways, you guys have a super fun, awesome day. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.